Welcome to the Nonprofit Voice, a podcast series brought to you by NonProfit Pro, the go-to resource for nonprofit management and strategy. I'm your host, Nhu Te, Editor-in-Chief of NonProfit Pro. In each episode, I'll be sitting down with the leaders of nonprofit organizations, the people responsible for paving the way for our sector, along with key technology strategy partners, the marketing, technology, and data providers who are transforming our industry. Here at the Nonprofit Voice, we'll have refreshing conversations in which we will all learn more about the convergence of nonprofit and technology. Be sure to follow us on social media and visit our website to find more episodes of the Nonprofit Voice. You can also download all of the Nonprofit Voice episodes on iTunes or Google Play. We'll have all the links down below. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Nonprofit Voice. Thanks for tuning in. I'm really looking forward to today's episode because we're going to dive into a really interesting topic. But before we get to that, I want to introduce my very special guests. First, we have Nicko Margolies, Digital Fundraising Strategist for Malala Fund. And joining us in the conversation is David DeParolesa, CEO of online giving platform Give Lively. Hey Nicko, hey David, thanks so much for joining me on today's podcast. How are you both doing?
Thanks, Nhu. I appreciate it. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm really excited to chat with you guys.
Awesome. So today we are going to get into digital wallets, which we've seen transform in the for-profit sector. And speaking personally, I don't know where I'd be without them. I use them in every aspect of my life, from paying my bills to ordering my groceries. And honestly, I'm a millennial, what can I say? What's interesting is that the nonprofit sector has been slow in making this transition, or I should say, in giving donors this option. But before we dive into that topic, I want to get to know you guys a little bit more. So Nicko, can you tell our audience about yourself and about Malala Fund?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always eager to share our work. Malala Fund is working for a world where every girl can choose her own future. It was founded in 2013 by student and Nobel laureate Malala Yousafzai and her father, Ziauddin. We basically have three sort of pillars of our work. The first is that we invest in education champions in developing countries who are breaking down the barriers that keep girls from learning. We call this the Gulma Kai Network, which is after the pen name that Malala used when she began her fight for girls' education when she was just 11 years old, writing a blog for the BBC detailing what her life was like in Pakistan under Taliban rule. And the second pillar is that we advocate at the local, national, and international levels for funding and policy changes so that every girl has the opportunity for 12 years of free, safe, and quality education. And then the third is amplifying girls' voices. I'm really excited to represent Malala Fund and discuss our use of digital wallets, but I'm really not the voice you need to hear from to learn more about this issue. You can go to our website, malala.org, to learn more about the countries where we work, read the research proving the transformative power of girls' education. But ultimately, the voices that you really should be hearing are the determined and inspiring girls themselves. So we have a newsletter called Assembly that comes out every 2 weeks. And it's really fantastic. So you can subscribe at assembly.malala.org.
Excellent. Thank you. And David, how about you? Tell us more about Give Lively.
Sure. So Give Lively is a tech company that's dedicated to building better fundraising software for nonprofits. And we give away that technology for free. So our goal is to provide access, to democratize access to the best-in-class, consumer-oriented tech, the tech that we're talking about today, digital wallets, for example, to the community that otherwise may have a high barrier in terms of cost to accessing that kind of technology. So we do this for free. We're funded by philanthropists who cover our operating costs. And we currently serve over 4,000 nonprofits who use our platform to do everything from online fundraising on their own websites to running text to donate events and event ticketing to peer-to-peer fundraisers. We continue to innovate with partners, including Malala Fund. And one reason we're here together on this call is because we collaborated to build and deliver digital wallets and the digital wallet experience to Malala Fund as an initial partner in that feature. So we're really excited to talk about it.
Excellent. This is all great stuff. So thank you both for sharing your stories with us. So my first question, and David, I'd like to hand the torch over to you for this one. Can you explain the idea of digital wallets, like what it is, how it's been used, and how nonprofits can use it to improve the donor experience?
Sure. So a digital wallet can be a few different things depending on the wallet that you're talking about, but at its core, a digital wallet is a payment method that has your card information already stored in it and other information about you already stored in it, so that no matter what device you're on, it only takes usually no more than one tap to make a payment using a payment method you have on file. So, in terms of digital wallets as a definition, the original player in the digital wallet space is PayPal. And many millions have accounts with PayPal. And then newcomers, Apple Pay and Google Pay, are device-specific payment methods. They are digital wallets that are built in essentially to the devices that they run on, and they have any number of payment methods behind them that you can use in one tap. In terms of how nonprofits use digital wallets, really the thought process is, how do people pay for things today in the modern world? Or how do consumers come to expect to make payments, whether it's at a coffee shop or online on an e-commerce site? In digital wallets, one tap, Apple Pay or PayPal payment options are expected. So as a platform at Give Lively, we expect to provide those same kinds of payment methods and the same level of friendliness that you would get anywhere else. And we believe that nonprofits should have that access as well. So we see nonprofits use this to generate donations quickly, to get folks through a donation flow in one tap, to inspire people to give in a moment when they're on the go, or to inspire people to give when they're at an event, where they may be texting a number and wanting to complete a donation very quickly so they can get on with that event. There are unlimited ways that folks pay with payment methods like PayPal and Apple Wallets, Google Pay, etc. And yeah, those are just some examples.
Great. Yeah, I agree with you. Over the years, we've seen donor expectations change, and I think it's important for nonprofits to give them the opportunity to donate in different ways, and I think digital wallets is a really great example. So, Nicko, can you share some examples of how Malala Fund has used digital wallets?
As David mentioned, digital wallets are not cutting-edge technology. They've been around for more than a decade, and as you mentioned, more and more consumers are using it to make their payments. And for Malala Fund, our audience is young, and it's especially important that we make sure to meet donors where they are and use the payment methods that they prefer. So we went through a process with Give Lively to sort of overhaul and transform our donor experience. And our old process was that users would have to leave our site, be presented with a different URL and the slightly different design, complete their gift, and then navigate back to our site. And we really wanted something faster, more secure, and especially native. So for nonprofits, there's always this tension between wanting more information about your users and your donors, but also not wanting to slow them down from becoming a donor. So digital wallets represent a really massive opportunity to make that donation flow seamless and allow us to know our donors without having to really ask for all that information and potentially get incorrect information. So, right now, the system is you just select the frequency of the donation, one time, monthly. You tap the amount, and then you hit donate with Apple Pay or Google Pay, and that's the experience for the user. And then on the nonprofit side at Malala Fund, we are receiving the other sort of metadata that they have stored in their digital wallet, so that we can maintain that relationship and have their email, their name, and one thing that I really love is that it keeps the form itself so minimal that the entire payment experience occurs above the fold when they're on their phones, and that was really exciting for us.
Awesome. Nicko, I'm curious, how has the implementation of digital wallets changed Malala Fund as a whole? Have you seen a rise in fundraising and donor engagement since you've adopted it?
Yeah, there are two aspects of why we're so excited about implementing digital wallets. And one is just the basic fundraising goals of having a better experience, give users the option to donate in the way they prefer, get them back to learning about our work as soon as possible and not have them slowed down by just filling in fields and correcting information. And then the other larger reason is that it's really, part of our organization's mission and who we are to be using new technology. There's a quote from Malala that I love where she said, "We want girls to take part in creating the technology that will change our world and who runs it." So, Malala is this transformative, hopeful, inspiring person. And at Malala Fund, we really recognize that technology is transforming the way we live, the way we work, the way we learn. So it's important that our website really reflects that vision.
Fabulous. I love that. Thanks for sharing that quote. That is like a perfect example. So I want to talk more about how digital wallets fit in the nonprofit sector. So David, I want to ask you, adopting digital wallets has been slow in the nonprofit sector, at least in the way nonprofits are adopting it. Why do you think that is, and what are the challenges getting in the way?
Yeah, that's a great and useful question. I put this in squarely on the backs of nonprofit tech companies that serve nonprofits outside of Give Lively who have not adopted digital wallets in a timely manner. Digital wallet technology, as we've mentioned in this podcast, has been around long enough that it should be a default option. And many of the major payment providers kind of under the hood of some of these other nonprofit tech vendors have had the capacity to offer Apple Pay and Google Pay and haven't innovated quickly enough. So the primary barrier has been a lack of innovation in the space. And it's exactly the thing that Give Lively responds to. We want to innovate on behalf of nonprofits, and we want to provide them with these kinds of modern tools. And that's been the primary reason. There has been hesitation as well. And I do want to note that there's been hesitation in terms of some myths around digital wallets that may have kept internal stakeholders, meaning folks working at nonprofits, from adopting the technology or advocating for it. And some of that is that folks believe that you don't get donor data with the digital wallet, which, as Nicko described, comes packed in with that donation. It actually makes it even easier to get donor data. That payments are slow, which is kind of the antithesis of what the wallet is. If they're not secure, it's actually the most secure payment method, more secure than someone entering a credit card. You can do monthly recurring donations with the wallet. You can use it in such a way that really does maximize the relationship you have with the person making that donation on the other end. And so those myths, I believe, the disbelief in some of those elements is what's kept some, again, nonprofits from wanting to adopt digital wallets, but they've been inhibited by the tech vendors who have been misserving them.
Great. Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of misconceptions and myths out there, and I appreciate you so much for clearing that up for us and our audience today. So, Nicko, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know all the barriers that other organizations are facing, but I think just talking about an API or some elements of technology can scare a lot of smaller and mid-sized nonprofits, especially if they don't have sort of an in-house tech team or capacity or knowledge of the space. And I think fortunately, the implementation of digital wallets has improved significantly. And when you're working with a good partner, it's not much more difficult than just sort of embedding a YouTube video on your site. So I think there's been a lot of advancement in in how the actual implementation works from the nonprofit side. So I think we'll hopefully see that be more common and widespread across the sector.
Great. Like we're saying right now, technology is paving the way for the future of nonprofits, and digital wallets definitely have played their part in that. But as new and innovative technology continues to emerge, what do you envision for the future of digital wallets? Nicko, I would love to hear your thoughts on this.
Sure. As we've said a couple times, the concept and the use of digital wallets is not new. And I think today, many, if not most consumers have used some form of a digital wallet. I think in the future, more people will expect to use their digital wallet whenever they're spending their money. And, hopefully the integration of digital wallets with existing payment processors and systems will improve. But I also think we'll start to see companies really market and expand benefits to attract new users. For example, I know Apple is releasing the Apple Card soon with a focus on simplicity and privacy, and PayPal, which owns Venmo, has been moving that system from an exclusive sort of peer-to-peer system to a payment option with merchants. So as a digital fundraiser, I'm keeping a close eye on these trends, and at Malala Fund, we're definitely going to keep listening to our supporters and really be responsive to their feedback. It's amazing what you can learn from just reading and responding to your own supporters.
Yeah, I would say in terms of other areas where I would imagine digital wallets would make a presence. I mean, we're already seeing digital wallets appear, or sort of what you might call digital wallet-like functionality appear in messaging apps, for example. So you can pay somebody using Apple Pay via iMessage. It's that kind of integration with services that are integrated with the same device that's capable of making a wallet payment that are really interesting. So as, for example, conversations move more towards private messaging, if there's a payment option inside of those private messaging apps, let's say WhatsApp, for example, there's an opportunity for a donation to be made as well. And I would only imagine that we'll see more interesting places where wallets can appear alongside a person's use of their phone or their more modern laptop, for example.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm really looking forward to seeing those integrations in the future. I think that would make donating a lot easier for our donors, and especially our younger donors.
We want to be able to speak to them and to where they are and how they behave. And if we continue to ask donors to move off of a mode or a channel that they're used to and into some other channel they're less familiar with, they're less comfortable with, the more we lose people. Mm-hmm. So the more you can keep people in the same channel, zone, page, messaging app, the more effective that ask is going to be, and the easier it will be for the person on the other end.
Exactly. So that about wraps it up for today's episode. I want to thank you for listening in on today's podcast. Nicko and David, it's been such a pleasure speaking with you. So thank you so much for joining us on the Nonprofit Voice and sharing your insights and expertise on digital wallets.
Thank you so much, Nhu.
Thank you for having me.
The pleasure is really all mine. It was such a joy having you both on today's podcast. So with that said, I want to take the time to thank our listeners for listening on today's podcast, and we will see you on the next episode of the Nonprofit Voice. Have a great day.